What a lovely summer's afternoon in good old, diverse, culturally enriched London.
Oh, biscuits. I love these. Get off, they're mine.
You're under arrest for not sharing your biscuits.
Yep, as of course, that guy is facing a very serious jail sentence for not being charitable enough. As of course, that fake AI video just shows you how close to reality of that kind of situation we are in the United Kingdom that also uses a lot of secret Palantir tech with contracts that have yet to be disclosed to the general public. As of course, we have some very interesting comments from the Palantir CEO, whose company is doing better than ever. This as other people like Whitney Webb and Alex Jones are coming out and talking about how this latest AI technocratic surveillance grid is something that, of course, is representative of, quote, the next Jeffrey Epstein. Yep. Those are the arguments being made right now, as we also have some very eye-opening comments being made by Catherine Austin Fitz that we're going to be playing in this particular video, as well as just the extraordinary situation happening right now with the U.S. government dolling out a lot of very lucrative, big contracts to Palantir. And if you appreciate us doing this video in light of being put on the deposition matrix and probably onto the Palantir database, subscribe. While we still have somewhat of an online internet presence and ability to still talk to you before it's fully terminated by the AI robotics teams that will eliminate us and our voices of concern. So yeah, you know, maybe even hit that, notification button. Be wild. As we have some very interesting things to talk about in this particular video. And let's just get right into it. As Catherine Austin Fitz laid out a very interesting scenario. Again, this is the former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under the Bush years. She spoke out and really highlighted some wild things in our society that are going on that has definitely raised a lot of eyebrows. Here's what she had to say about Trump now, which is interesting in light of all this Palantir information.
So I think they put Trump in to get the control grid. And we have at Celery, we have a collection that we update every week of all the things the administration is doing to build the control grid. And I have to tell you, if I had chosen Trump to get the control grid and I was going to grade him on his performance to date, he gets an A+++. He's done a fabulous job. And I can't imagine another politician who could have done this much this fast. So, but if you look at what they've achieved, I don't think they need Trump anymore.
Yep. As of course, it was lightning speed that all of the AI mega projects, as well as the government contracts, have been greenlit by Donald Trump that is propelling and pushing a global surveillance state that, of course, keeps a watchful eye on you to make sure you're not critical of that one country in the Middle East that you can't criticize. As Palantir, a company that was originally taken over the Pentagon's Total Information Awareness Program, a program that on its face value a lot of people saw as absolutely ridiculous, but it was privatized now, and it's within an intelligence agency-linked company, Palantir, that, by the way, is doing really great, according to Jim Cramer. I mean, if there's any kind of saving grace here, it's how wrong Jim Cramer has always been. But he's now predicting Palantir to go up in value as they just snagged a $10 billion Army deal, which consolidates 75 contracts into one. Yes, you heard that correctly. The U.S. Army is now doing a $10 billion deal over the next 10 years, as this arrangement combines 75 individual agreements into one simple package. The idea is to speed up the process of getting things, save costs, and make it easier to supply AI-driven military capabilities for the Army, as these military capabilities are already in play in places like Gaza. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Palantir tech is being used to designate individuals, whether they need interrogation, whether they need to be let go, whether they need to be gotten rid of. That's one way of saying blown up into smithereens. As Palantir just topped $1 billion in revenue for the first time, as they are now, of course, earning in a lot of money from the artificial intelligence boom that Donald Trump has spurred on here domestically inside of the United States. As CNBC writes, the AI software provider's revenue grew 78% during the period and hit $1 billion for the first time. The software analytics company has seen a boost from President Donald Trump's focus on, quote, cutting government costs, as Palantir is also working on modernizing the IRS system, as they will be taking all of your data everywhere, and consolidating it for the IRS to have so they understand exactly how much money you have so they could take it away from you. As the CEO, Alex Karp, has definitely had some very strong messages to all of his haters, who he says are, quote, suffering. Now, before talking about that, and a lot more, as Palantir builds up the databases on us and estimates how much sales we are making on wearechange.shop, a great shop, by the way, before going into Whitney Webb and Alex Jones and having their kind of 2 cents on this particular matter, which I think are very important. Before getting into that, we wanted to tell you about our store, a great store that you find a lot of really awesome, incredible products on. We have teas. We just got the lemon peach tea back in stock here, and it was one of our fan favorites. It's a really good white peach tea. Our mascot is a happy testicle because our teas are microplastic free. Microplastic free bags. The way you brew it doesn't brew microplastics. Again, I love tea, but most teas have incredible amounts of microplastics. Now, you can't always avoid it, but you could do your best to make steps in order to try to make sure that your body isn't inundated with it at extreme levels. Tea bags are really horrible. Cans are also lined with plastics. And again, I'm like, where do I get my tea? And most tea companies stop putting their tea in glass bottles. And I'm like, I want to make my own. And I have a glass jug. I brew some tea. And then I put it in my refrigerator, and boom, I have some iced tea. I want to sweeten it. I put some honey. I put some maple syrup in there if I want, and boom, I got some really great, awesome tea. White peach, really great tea. We just got restocked on it, and we also have lemon ginger for the more health-conscious, organic lemon ginger tea for more of the health-conscious kind of individuals out there, as we have some really, really great products out there that are very unique, very different. And listen, you don't want to get teabagged. Getting teabagged is bad. Go to wearechange.shop, scroll down, and the tea, again, everyone has coffee. Poland, everyone drinks tea. I'm like, yo, stop putting tea bags in there. The tea bags just, especially with such high temperature waters there, excrete so much nonsense. So much teas have so much pesticides, so much nonsense. We made sure to get the best tea on the market, and it's available to you just for $17 with a big bag that you get that you can make a whole bunch of tea with. And again, drink responsibly, since it is a caffeinated beverage. I love you guys, and I can't thank you guys enough for supporting us, and I'm happy to announce we have it back in stock. Now, let's go back to Alex Karp here. That previously had this to say.
Make this country even better because we support the values, because we defend it. And, you know, us being able to win while having an opinion does have an impact on the world, if only because the people who think we are wrong or not good have to be a little jealous and suffer. And you know what? That's a good thing, too.
You have to be jealous and you have to suffer if you think we're not good, as he has been known for being very opinionated. Personally, I kind of like that, to be quite honest with you. But when you look at their kind of reports earning, when you look at the amount of money coming in here, it's not just, you know, the money aspect that's important here. It's the surveillance aspect of all of this and how it will be utilized here. As people are talking about this bombastic AI demand, as we are trying to counter countries like China that have been delving out all of their latest resources towards driving artificial intelligence to extreme prominence, to the possibility of greatly influencing the world. And it's largely an influence battle that's happening with these AI battles. Now, China has an advantage because they get to track, trace, database, spy on every little thing that the civilians do in their country. The United States doesn't have that plethora of data, but in enters Palantir. They have all the data. And listen, they do things a little unorthodoxly, but let's not forget here that there are other connections to, of course, individuals like Peter Thiel that recently was exposed to have been doing business with Jeffrey Epstein, as he has been saying a lot of interesting things, specifically as he has been talking about the apocalypse, the Antichrist. For him, the Antichrist of the apocalypse will come with people who don't want technology. So, I think it's fair to say that the apocalypse Antichrist could potentially come with the vast development of creating a new godlike super intelligence that is way smarter than all human beings. I think that's a little bit more of a threat than what we previously had before, and that's how we differ here on the questions here. As Peter Thiel was recently seen with Viktor Orban in Hungary, as it looks like a lot of European nations are also moving towards utilizing and implementing things like Palantir. Whitney Webb made a very interesting observation when she was being interviewed recently, highlighting how she says, you know what, the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, they're kind of obsolete. They're not really needed, because why build compromise and blackmail on people when you could just get it through their data now? And that's exactly what she accuses Palantir of doing. And listen, when you look at all the surveillance tech, if you look at what the NSA was doing, specifically after 2001, all of it was a dragnet type of surveillance, get everything we can. It wasn't targeted surveillance, which actually does work and would prevent terrorism and radicalism and these type of attacks that actually attack innocent civilians. Because again, what we're being told here is, no, you got to give up all your rights. You got to tell us everything, because there's going to be bad people that hurt you. If that was the case here, they wouldn't be taking all of the data. When you take all the data, you empower yourselves with incredible amounts of data that could be used and utilized, not just for stopping allegedly bad stuff happening, but empowering yourself to greater levels than ever previously thought about or even known before, as of course that type of data could now also do pre-crime, could also preventively stop someone from coming out that could become a political force and juggernaut that would be your opponent. And you could preventively stop that through, of course, these pre-crime apparatuses, and allow someone to have essentially the Ring of Sauron and be in power forever through the Total Information Awareness Program that has been now rebranded under Palantir and now has all of the data and information about you in so many different particular ways here. Now, this is what Whitney Webb had to say here. She said it a little bit more articulately than I did.
But again, to bring it back to a question you asked earlier on about, Israel and blackmail, they don't really need blackmail anymore. And I argue at the end of my book that Palantir, Peter Thiel's company, really makes it so that, that's the new Jeffrey Epstein at the end of the day. If they want to blackmail you or know something about you, they just access what Palantir sucked up about you and your search history, your communications, your finances, tweets you've liked in the past, all sorts of things. You don't really need Epstein in the surveillance era,
Yeah, especially now with all the character assassinations going around. But with those character assassinations finding themselves not to be as fruitful as they were, especially during the Me Too era and movement, I think we're entering into a new realm that I think I would even go deeper down the rabbit hole than Whitney Webb's going down, specifically when it comes to seeing political trends, seeing what people are thinking in real time, and then being able to manipulate it and usurp challenges that come up against your grip of power that you could preemptively stop and strike before they become a legitimate threat against the people wielding the power. That's right there, I think, the really creepy aspect of this. As of course, they could also just go to politicians and be like, oh, look, we have the things you said in here in this private message. We have this that you liked here. Look, we're going to release it all. And we're going to, instead of just assassinate you, we're going to character assassinate you, and we're going to make sure people hate you. And I think that does happen. And I think it's already in play today, to be quite honest with you.
No.
Do you think when they said tweets are private, it was just an inducement to get us all to like what we really want to like so they can hold it against us later?
It's possible if they want to hold it against you later. The disturbing thing about Palantir is that it's really about pre-crime. They were the pioneers of predictive policing. They were originally, well, almost everywhere they piloted predictive policing had been low-income minority neighborhoods, where they decide who's going to commit a crime before they commit it. And that's
And then do
essentially
what?
We'll see. Administrative detention, maybe, if we go the Israeli path. But Trump actually, in his first term, posited this program to stop mass shootings before they happen. That would basically involve going over American social media posts and identifying if they had early warning signs of neuropsychiatric illness based on their, tweets or Facebook posts. And if they were determined by the algorithm to show those warning signs, they could be, placed under house arrest or go to sessions with a court-ordered psychologist and all sorts of things.
Well, some of my extended relatives better be careful because they got some wild Facebook posts. I had to leave the app.
So do a lot of Americans, and it's worth pointing out that a lot of social media companies like Facebook have a lot of ties to Peter Thiel at the same time he was setting up Palantir, and that Facebook has a lot of similarities to a failed DARPA project called LifeLog that arguably Facebook was resurrected into, because Palantir is the resurrection of another DARPA program called.
And then, of course, there's also In-Q-Tel that helped a lot of the kind of grassroots funding of a lot of these top social media companies that also are a CIA front. As, of course, the CIA gave a lot of very lucrative contracts to companies like Palantir to give them their start here, as it's pretty much a proxy group of the intel agencies that are able to skirt rules, laws, regulations, because it's now a private company that's doing it, and now they're exempt from Freedom of Information Act and, of course, other transparent, accountable measures that they don't have to comply with since they're a private company. And that's exactly what we are looking at here. That's exactly it.
Total information awareness. That was so scandalous when it was announced. It was defunded by Congress, but then they realized that if they turned it into a private company, no one would complain. And that's how we got Palantir. So...
Yeah. She's 100% right. Alex Jones had his particular take on it. As he's talking about the kind of bigger game that is being played here, as he's arguing, listen, the NSA already is taking all of your data. This is a rush towards this kind of AI takeover surveillance technocratic society. And he's arguing, and has argued before, that he wants it to be in the hands of, quote, the good guys, our guys on our team. But I would argue that whenever you empower someone with that amount of power, he would argue that, no, it's going to exist. We just want to make sure it's in the right hands. And he's saying, and the people on the kind of Trump side are saying, no, we got to make sure it's on our side. It's not on the Google NSA side. And that there's an internal kind of intelligence agency fight here amongst who is going to have the reins of control of all this. And whoever does probably is going to be acting corrupt, because power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think that's the bigger lesson here out of all of this. So I think it's kind of irrelevant, in my opinion.
When I came out months ago, when this reached fever pitch, I said, Palantir is being made the main focus by the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Young Turks and everybody, because Google and Microsoft and Amazon and others and ChatGPT, they want to be the dominant system. They already are. They don't want Palantir coming into the middle of it. So the big story was it's a battle between the tech giants over who's going to control the system. I was saying it's all bad, and we need to understand the big picture and have a discussion about that instead of which panopticon AI pre-crime system do we want. And, of course, all the usual suspects that just want to be holier than what Jones is defending Palantir, saying it's not a problem, because people don't like complex things.
And again, it is a very complex issue. Now, us saying, so all surveillance bad when we're living in an ever so kind of surveilled tech, which a lot of people believe we need to implement in order to compete with China, I think that's already kind of a mistake in the first place, for me personally. And, this conversation does deserve more nuance, and I respect Alex Jones for presenting the nuance, even though I respectfully see things a little bit differently.
They don't like the truth. They just want to say, I am a Pharisee. Alex Jones is unholy. I have all the answers. And then give you some moronic response. So now Palantir is being brought in. They are getting bigger contracts. If you look at these contracts, they're small compared to the other guys, but their contracts.
Yeah, look at Amazon. I don't understand why Donald Trump is trying to tap Amazon now to help build the Golden Dome in the United States, especially since Amazon and their servers are connected to the CIA and literally took him out from having any kind of social media presence after January 6th.
Are to now surveil and scoop all that so the government has one big database and access to things even easier.
Now, Trump's being sold on this. Trump's being sold on this because he's like, we'll get all the immigrants. We'll get all the data on all the immigrants. We'll get them out. But it's far beyond just immigrants here. Of course, again, the people who wield this political power, I agree with Catherine Austin Fitts here at the beginning of this video. When they get this, they won't need Donald Trump, and they'll just throw him to the wolves. They'll get rid of him because then they'll be in power forever. That's, I think, what is my takeaway from this. I hope I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, let me know why. In the meantime, get some tea. WeAreChange.shop. Great tea. Awesome tea. Very yummy. Delicious tea. Again, everyone loved the peach one. Everyone, like it sold out so quick. We still haven't sold out of our lemon ginger one. That's the more healthier one, in my opinion. But the white peach one, so good. So yeah, drink your peach tea as we are on the precipice of a total technocratic AI digital surveillance state and takeover. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/WeAreChange.